Hello and welcome to Market House, the podcast where we talk all things Disney. My name's Caleb.
And I'm Caitlin.
And this week we talk about a gluten-free surprise.
A new Pixar movie.
And we finish our top 10 queues at Walt Disney World. Let's dive in. All right, and this is episode number 180.
Welcome back, as always, everybody.
Welcome back. We took a little break there. It was announced. We got back from a trip to St. Louis to see family. We'll get into that in a second, but I don't know if you can really hear it in my voice or whatever, but I did come back with some sickness, and I held out there for a while. So we've been back for a little bit. We came back a day or two later. Maddie comes down with something. A minor cold, right? It wasn't terrible.
No,
you could just tell,
very light. Yeah.
You could tell she felt not great. She slept a lot more than usual, and she got over it. Then it passed to Caitlin, and you've been struggling with it for the past week, but pretty minor, right?
Yeah, pretty minor.
Not crazy. You've been able to function.
Yeah.
You know, like a little scratchy throat, a sneeze here and there, but you've been pretty good.
Yeah.
Now it brings me to me. It's my turn to get this thing.
The opposite for Caleb.
It hit me so hard yesterday.
And Caleb never gets sick, ever.
It's pretty rare. It hit me so hard. I felt terrible. Like, I felt bad yesterday. I was up. It was bad. It was just really bad.
You had fever.
I had a fever last night.
Yeah.
My whole body hurt. My throat was killing me. So I was like chugging tea and cough drops and all the things. Today I feel half human. I feel pretty good. It's just the annoying like dry cough and all that stuff. So anyways, enough about me being sick. So I apologize if you hear me clearing my throat a little bit more than usual and I sound a little weird. I'm just struggling with a little cold. Yeah. So I apologize. And then also, before we get too far into this, happy Father's Day to all the dads out there.
Happy Father's Day.
It's the day after when this comes out. Hope you guys are doing awesome. Hopefully the families took care of you. I just want to hang out. I want to have a good time, relax. We were supposed to hang out with family, but now it looks like we'll probably be kind of laying low. I don't want to spread this to anybody else. So eat some good cinnamon rolls.
Yes.
I think that's on the docket.
And some surprises. But yes, happy Father's Day to all. We are so thankful for all the dads, including this one over here that I'm staring at.
Happy Father's Day.
Appreciate you and all those father figures out there. We couldn't do it without you. So thank you.
Yes. Okay, before we get into the news, we will just say really quick, we did go to St. Louis. We had a blast. It wasn't Disney, so we won't spend too much time on it, but seeing family is always good. My grandparents are out there, so we had a good time with them. They got to see Maddie and spend a lot of time with her. She's come back loving them even more. I know she's already loved them, but now she just talks about them constantly and asks what they're doing. She calls my grandma Gigi and my grandpa Peepaw because we call him G-Paw, but she can't say G-Paw yet, so it's Peepaw. It's very quick, too. She sounds like a little French girl. She goes, Peepaw, Peepaw. So she's just been asked about them a lot now, so it's been
so
fun.
Cute.
We went to the aquarium out there.
We did. It was great.
It was great. And this was a fun thing. So a little Disney adjacent here. Hear me out. So we are in the car as a family. We rented a minivan just to get everyone in there. My parents were there, brother, me, Maddie, Caitlin. It's a lot of people. So we rented a minivan, which was amazing. It was clutch. Very good idea.
It was.
This guy right here. No, I was obsessed. I came home saying, I'm going to buy a minivan. That thing was awesome.
I have to admit, the space was very luxurious.
The space was awesome. Everyone fit in there comfortably.
Yeah, it was nice.
Maddie had her own space. That was freaking awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm in the market for a minivan. I'll be purchasing one this week. I'm just kidding. That was awesome. So we're in the minivan. We're driving on the highway, and we had initially said we were going to go to the Butterfly Museum because Maddie loves butterflies and it was right down the road and whatever. It's a fun thing to do for a couple of hours. So we're driving and I forgot how it got brought up, but my dad, I think, asked like, hey, where are we going? He was texting someone. He was like, oh, we're heading to the Butterfly Museum. And my little brother, who has been
We're going to the aquarium, he said.
No.
Oh.
He had said we were going to the Butterfly Museum. And that prompted my brother, who had been he's been the wayfinder the entire time. He had his phone connected with the Apple CarPlay, and so he was doing the GPS and all that good stuff. He was the DJ, and he kind of looks around to the back and goes, wait, what did you just say? And we're like, yeah, we're supposed to be going to the Butterfly Museum. And he's like, okay, well, we're not going to the Butterfly Museum. I had put in the aquarium. I thought we were going to the aquarium. So we had driven for like 15, 20 minutes the wrong direction.
Yeah.
My grandma was like, then piped up and said, yeah, I noticed we had gone the wrong direction. I was just going to let you guys figure it out.
So funny.
So anyways, by accident, we went to the aquarium and I'm glad we did because we're walking through. The intro was so themed and very cool. You get on this train ride to get to the aquarium, and it's narrated by John Goodman.
Yeah.
Who's the voice of Sully.
And prior to getting on the train, there's like this whole, like this big room where like there's these projections on the ceiling of all these animals and lights.
It was LED panels because it was so bright.
Cool.
Very, very well done. And it looked like Caitlin said, this looks like the Epic portals over at Epic Universe.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it does. So that was the first like thing in my head that started turning of like, this feels very themed and there's a story. Get on the train again. Narrated by Sully, who's actually a St. Louis resident or native. He's from there, which is a fun fact. And so I'm just getting the vibe of like, this was designed by someone that does other stuff. And sure enough, I look up the company that designed the St. Louis Aquarium. They did Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. They did the Atlanta Aquarium, which is supposed to be the best in the world. So anyways, they're in the business. So that was a really cool Disney related thing that we got to do. Yeah, a little touch of magic. So it was really cool. It was kind of expensive, but it was fun.
I loved it.
Other than that, great trip. We're back. A little sick, but that's okay. Okay, then one final thing before we dive in. I know this is an insanely long intro. We did want to mention that the Monsters, Inc. parking garage, walkway news, all that stuff that Disney dumped a couple weeks ago, by this point isn't really breaking news, so we didn't really touch on it in this episode with the news segments. But I do want to say that was announced. If you're catching up, go read about it on Disney Parks blog. It's crazy. Mixed emotions. I am excited. I'm insanely sad at the same time because they're taking away Monsters, Inc. from us. That's Maddie's favorite ride right now. So there's a lot of emotions going on right now, but I just wanted to touch on that news happened, and it's insane.
Yeah.
Are you excited?
Well, I'm excited for a lot of it, but I'm like you said, I'm very, very, very sad when it comes to Monsters, Inc. But again, at the same time, I understand that they only have so much space.
Sure.
And so I get it, but I just wish that they could have just excused that little ride to go somewhere else. But yeah, I'm excited to dive in. We are going to be doing an episode over on Patreon. So if you want to hear more of our thoughts, definitely check that out over there.
Yes.
And I will post on stories once that is live.
Yeah, keep your eyes peeled for that episode. So yeah, if you want to hear our thoughts, head over there. Okay, hey, before we dive in, Patreon Market House. Wow. We have a Patreon. I just said random words and it all jumbled together. We have a Patreon. markethousepodcast.com/support is where you can find out more information over there. Again, if you want to hear our thoughts about this stuff and get exclusive content, bonus episodes, head over there and join. It's less than a price of a cup of coffee every month. My brain's just turning off right now. I'm slurring my words.
Definitely just check it out.
I'm on legal drugs, I promise, to help me get through the day. No, but check it out. It's a fun time. Also, please consider leaving a review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Both are a huge help to the show. Also, please share this episode with a friend. It would be amazing if you did that. Speaking of reviews, we have a new review over on Apple Podcasts.
You guys, this came through while we were visiting family, and we got so excited. We have this one written review, and then I saw a couple come through over on Spotify. So thank you so much. Like we've mentioned before, it truly does mean the world. So let's get to this written review. It is titled A Must Listen for Disney Fans. This is from Red Meg 129, 5-star rating. I've been listening to Market House for a couple of years, and it remains one of my absolute favorite Disney podcasts. The hosts bring such an infectious energy to each episode. There's a warmth and cheerfulness in their banter that genuinely makes me laugh out loud. It's like catching up with Disney-loving friends every week. What really sets the show apart is how well they cover all things Disney, not just Disneyland, but also Walt Disney World, Disney Cruise Line, and beyond. It's a well-rounded dose of Disney magic with great info, fun stories, and just the right amount of humor. Whether you're a theme park regular or just dreaming of your next trip, Market House will keep your Disney spirit alive between vacations. Highly recommend. Very, very, very sweet. You can tell I'm just smiling right now. Like the words like you guys tell us on there, it truly means the world to us. So thank you so much for taking the time. The fact that this was a really in-depth rating and review, I really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much for the kind words. It means the world to us. And let us know too on Instagram. It doesn't tell us, again, your username on Apple and stuff isn't very descriptive, right? It doesn't tell us who you are. So let us know over on Instagram if you follow us over there.
Yes.
And we'd love to personally thank you. So thank you so much for leaving that review. It means a lot.
All right, for our first news story, we have some exciting news. Pixar has announced a new original film in the works at the studio called Gatto.
Yeah, I think it's Italian for cat, I believe. So yes. It's like gatto.
The concept art that they released is really cute. I really like it.
Yeah, so let's dive in a little bit here. It's from the Luca director Enrico Casarosa and producer from Luca and Andrea Warren are returning to make this film. So we loved Luca. That was a great movie.
So good.
Straight to Disney Plus release, and that was awesome. That could have been a very successful theatrical run, in my opinion, because it was that good of a movie. So excited that they're coming back for this. Gatto takes audiences to Venice following a black cat named Nero, who begins to question whether he's lived the right lives. On social media, they shared another line here saying, indebted to a feline mob boss, Nero finds himself forced to forge an unexpected friendship that may finally lead him to his purpose.
Ooh.
There's some nefarious business going on in Gatto. I love it.
Yeah,
it sounds good.
I'm excited.
Set to release in June of 2027, so we've got a bit to wait. But Pixar, for the most part, has great films. Recently, there's been some questionable releases. We could talk about this all day long.
Yeah.
But for the most part, Pixar is amazing. So I'm really hoping an original idea like this takes off and does very well.
All right, for our next news story, it is time to talk about one of my favorite discussions of the entire year, Oogie Boogie Bash, and all the information that you need to celebrate this spooky season.
Oogie Boogie Bash, it's finally here. So Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween got an early announcement. A few weeks have passed, and now we've got our turn over here on the West Coast. Disneyland has announced Oogie Boogie Bash details. Let's get into it. We've already known the dates, right? We've known the dates for a while. Starts August 17th and runs through Halloween, October 31st. Now we know the prices. Prices range from $139 to $199. The most expensive, of course, being near Halloween. So if you want to save money, go earlier in the season. If you want to get the most Halloween vibes, I guess, you're going to be paying up because $200 per person for a few hour experience is wild.
It's a lot, yeah.
It's a lot of cash. Slight increase from last year. Just a note, it ranged from $134 to $189, so a few bucks. Not that much, but still it's an increase. Every single year, ticket prices go up, and this is a perfect example of that. Ticket sales start on June 24th, no earlier than 9 a.m. Pacific time for Inspire key holders. So they get first dibs. If you're an Inspire key holder, June 24th is your date. All Magic key holders get early access on June 25th. Again, no earlier than 9 a.m. And the general public on June 26th.
Yes.
So,
and as always, this event will sell out very quickly, especially the ones leading up to Halloween, as Caleb mentioned. So if you're wanting to attend Oogie Boogie Bash or have a specific date in mind, I highly recommend you getting online right at 9 a.m.
Yes. And I'm excited to do this, experience this for the first time once Maddie is old enough. I think this event looks awesome. Again, if your kid is the right age. Right now, Maddie's 19 months, and so a little too young to make it till about 12 a.m. So again, I'm looking forward to this one day to experience it. But it's hard to justify back before we had Maddie for two adults to go in addition to the cost it takes to get down there. Does that make sense? For locals, this is a no-brainer because it's something extra. But you already live down there, you're not paying for flights and hotel and blah blah blah. If you've got money coming out your ears, then this makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
But if you're going and you got a budget in mind, it was hard to justify an additional $400 on the trip for just a few hours of something. So I'm just looking forward to the day that I can go. This makes sense for us.
Yeah.
And we're going to go.
I can't wait.
All right. And for our final news story, we're staying in Disneyland. And let me tell you, this thing, I'm so sad I can't get to experience, but I'm very happy for those who get to take part in this beautiful, beautiful thing called gluten-free beignets.
Yeah. I'm sad we can't attend the event.
So listen to this. Pride Night, right? 2 nights of the year. Sounds fun. This has gotten rave reviews. It looks like a very fun time. So even minus these gluten-free treats, looks like a fun time and I'd like to go. Now you add these two things, guaranteed we're going next year.
Spectacular.
Guaranteed.
I want to go so bad.
If they don't start offering this normally in regular times, then for sure we're going next year because let me get into this. For the food allergy friends out there, specifically my celiac friends, Disneyland announced a couple of gluten-free surprises for Pride Night. Royal Street Veranda will have gluten-free beignets and gluten-free cookie ice cream sandwiches.
I gasped when I saw this. First of all, I was like, how could they only offer it for this
2 nights?
Event? There's so much work that has to go into doing an allergy food item, but I'm like, whatever.
I wonder if they're making all these off-site and they're carting them in. I highly doubt they're making them right there.
Or they're just like prepackaged already. Is that what you're meaning?
Maybe, yeah. Or they're making them in a central kitchen and then they wheel them over because I don't understand how they can make a kitchen gluten-free for one night and then go to gluten and then a few nights later
Especially beignets.
go back. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me.
But
So
I'm very curious though, if any of you guys are going and would like to try these, please, please, please let us know because I want to know how they taste compared to the ones in Disney World.
yeah, I'll buy them. So if you're there, let me mobile order them for you because I would love to hear
Oh my
straight
gosh,
from you.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if you're going, let me treat you to these because I want to hear your review.
Yes.
And also be nice about it because I know the people that get to eat gluten and be like, this is disgusting.
No.
But just keep in mind,
Coming from someone who eats gluten, that's entirely not true. A lot of times with Disney, you can't tell. I mean, there are some. You're
No,
like, okay, you
that's
can
not
tell
right.
this is gluten free. But
Yeah.
overall, for example, like the flop over, 110% cannot tell that it's gluten free. The gluten free teriyaki chicken cannot tell that it's gluten free. So there's a couple things where you're like, whoa. And I have a feeling if it's anything like the Disney World ones, those are absolutely, I can
they're
eat an
so
entire
good.
bag.
I would fly out there right now just to grab
Yes,
those
I
and
would
fly
too.
home. They're so good. All right, that brings us to our main segment of this week's episode, and that is the top 10 queues at Walt Disney World, part 2.
Woohoo.
We are back with our final edition of Best Ride Queues at the Disney Parks. That is the U.S. Disney Parks. We haven't been to the international ones yet, so we can't touch on those yet. One day. Give us a few years, we'll do that. So far, we've shared our favorite lines at Disneyland, Magic Kingdom, and Hollywood Studios. It is time for EPCOT and Animal Kingdom.
Yes.
We've only been listing the attractions we've personally experienced, but we did realize something, that this would be a very lame list since we'd be missing some really, really, really big attractions, specifically in EPCOT. Half the list that you'll see here in a minute, we haven't experienced personally just because they've been adding a lot of stuff over there at EPCOT, I feel like. And so we do have to kind of mix in some stuff we've experienced via YouTube. So we did watch some videos as research for this episode.
Mhm.
And again, it's not going to be like 100%, I don't know, I guess authentic in the fact that we haven't done it ourselves. I feel like the other lists we were able to speak with a little bit more authority because we've been there and done it. But this one we'll have to just trust a little bit from what you at home say and then also from people's experiences online. But let's get into it. We'll do our best here on our lists. Okay, let's start in EPCOT.
Are we starting at number 5?
Let's start at 5.
All right. Do you
Okay.
want to take it?
I'll take it. Here we
All
go. Number 5 is Spaceship Earth.
Yes.
Okay, so hear me out here. It's a very simple line. Most of it's outside, but I think it makes the list because number one, it's kind of slim pickings in Epcot. Not gonna lie. I will say this. Spoiler: none of the rides in the Land Pavilion made it because it feels like a mall.
I know.
They're
I
they're
don't
not
like it at all.
great.
Yeah.
So like Soarin' feels like you're in a mall.
Especially living with the land.
Living with the Land
Rough.
feels like you're in a lobby of a
Yeah.
big, large building. So it's very just lame, not very cool. So it limits what's available. So Spaceship Earth makes the list because, hear me out, you're walking into the big Epcot golf ball. That's super cool. So I think that's like a certain novelty and deserves to be on this list because you get to walk into it. And it's fun. I don't know. It's a little retro.
It
It's
still
cool.
blows my mind that you are up inside of that.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, that's so amazing.
It's very cool.
All right. Number 4. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Number 4 is The Seas with Nemo and Friends.
The Seas. Okay, this ride gets a lot of hate though.
Yes. And I don't understand.
I don't
why.
understand why either. It's
Yeah.
good. It's decent. It's not fantastic. It's a decent dark ride. It's great for all families because everyone gets to ride it.
Mhm.
Little ones and the elderly alike.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I love the Finding Nemo soundtrack, and no one can deny that it is an amazing soundtrack. And that's all that's blasting in that lobby. And it feels like you're underwater because they got the light.
Blue world.
The big blue world. And they got the light effects, and it looks like you're on the beach.
Underwater.
and
It's,
underwater.
it's so cool. Again, a lot of people go, that's boring. But I'm like, I don't know. Like,
No,
I like it.
It's cool.
Yeah.
It sets the tone for the ride. I like it. And it's themed. At least it's themed. We have to give credit that at least they themed it a little bit.
It's better than The Little Mermaid at DCA.
That's true.
Right?
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. Okay, let's head over to number 3. And that takes us to Remy's Ratatouille Adventure. This is one we had to experience via online and also from firsthand experience from my brother and his girlfriend. They rode it our last trip. We got into the park super late. And so by the time we got in, it was an hour wait. And they told us definitely not worth that line. So don't even go.
So one thing that we saw online that we thought was interesting was when you're walking down, like right when you go into the building, which love the ambiance outside of the building, super pretty with the fountain and like the champagne bottles. As you're like walking through though, it's kind of interesting. It looks like you're walking down like a hallway, like in an Italian restaurant, which again, I get the theming of that, but like there's nothing on the walls. It's just like red.
Yeah. So from seeing that, it was very weird. So at first I was like, this is not making the list, but
Yeah.
then it
Our favorite
spits you
part.
out. Yeah. It spits you out into like the city rooftops.
Yeah,
And
so
you've got
cool.
Gusteau's sign right there.
And that's interactive.
Well, it's
and
animated, not interactive. So
That's
you
what I
can't,
meant, sorry.
you can't interact with it, but it's animated. It moves. It feels like you're on these Parisian streets. So very, very cool. So that part makes up for the lack of theming in the beginning. And then, like Caitlin, the facade, the outside is gorgeous.
Yeah.
Looks like Paris. So very well done in that respect. So it needs to make the list. It's good. Okay, that brings us to number one.
Number two.
Oh,
so
sorry,
number
number two.
two is Frozen Ever After. Again, very similar to Hermes Ratatouille Adventure. Love the outside and how it's kind of like tucked back in the Norway pavilion. The outside of it is just really well decorated. And then once you get inside, for like the first couple minutes of the queue, it's kind of like boring. There's just like photos everywhere. But once you get like deep inside the queue, you have like what's it called? Is it
Wandering Oaken,
Yeah.
right?
Like the sauna, and then that is
Yoo-hoo.
interactive. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
how he's talking to you, and then just like all the decor inside. It looks like you're like literally in the town
Like
of
a
Arendelle.
village, yeah.
And again, it's so pretty being able to like look across and see the ride vehicles and everyone getting on. I love like the open concept of that queue. Like you're just in that big room. So love that ride. Love the queue.
I love the queue. I honestly don't mind waiting in it.
Yeah, I think the only downside is when you are outside, because the 2 times that we have been on this, the line has been extremely long. When it is very hot, the outside portion is rough. But like once you get inside, they have the AC pumping. So like other than that, it's okay. But
That's true.
just getting in, it's
I
a
did
little-
forget the sun beating down on us for like half an hour. So
Yeah.
that was pretty hot. Okay, so that brings us to number one, and that is Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind.
And this one makes me sad because we were overjoyed to be able to ride this last time. And of course, the ride was literally shut down all day until we were leaving. So
yes,
it was a
shut
bummer.
down right when we were going to get our virtual queue, and then it opened up at some point because my brother and I saw people in line, and we were very mad. So that's okay. We'll experience it next time we're out there. But again, this one we had to experience via YouTube. This one's so stinking cool. I've tried to be spoiler free as much as possible because I've heard this attraction will change my life. I've got a close family friend that's been there a few times, and he's like, this is my favorite roller coaster period right now because it's so well done. The ride vehicle's cool. So I've heard it's just amazing. So I did watch a little bit of the video. That room you go into and that huge screened projection thing and that basically that mission intro you get and stuff
That's as far as I've gone.
is so stinking cool. That is so real. It's so cool. So well done. And so that takes the cake. It's kind of easy over in Epcot. There's not any amazing queues.
No.
So this by far is a very well done, very well themed. I can't speak for the outside portion and maybe things leading up to that room. All I can say is people are like, hands down, this is the coolest attraction in Epcot right now. So you got to give it to everybody and just go with this one. Okay, that is Epcot. It sounds like I'm choking up every 5 seconds. Like this is making me emotional. It's just my throat closing. And I feel like I'm going to pass out at any moment because of this cough. Okay, let's go number 5 in Animal Kingdom. What do we have?
This is Cali River Rapids. And again, it's just so different than the one over at DCA, which we have Grizzly River Run for those who aren't aware. Totally different theme. Again, like we mentioned for DCA, Grizzly River Run is very unique. It literally makes you feel like you're in the redwoods. And same goes with Cali River Rapids. It's such a unique experience and unique queue. Again, I feel like this was an interesting take for Disney because a lot of the times when you think of like a storyline, you wouldn't think that they would go into the topic of like deforestation and all that type of stuff, but like it's really cool that they incorporated that so you can get an idea of like, hey, it's not always fun and whatever.
Sure.
And I feel like it also adds to like the chaoticness of the ride, of getting wet and like things just being everywhere. So
yeah, it's very well done. I think there's a connection to Michael Jackson. I remember Cali River Rapids has a connection to Michael Jackson.
Yeah, I don't remember what.
I don't remember what. So if you know at home, let us know. But I remember that portion there. So yeah, well done. Outdoor queue for the most part. And again, Joe Rohde killed it. Every single attraction in Animal Kingdom is just so well done to the area it's in, Asia, Africa, what have you. It just fits and it just feels right. It feels like it's been there for years. And so very well done. You can't find really anything wrong with these queues over in Animal Kingdom. But if I could really quick, an honorable mention, if I could pick an attraction that's no longer there, I would choose It's Tough to Be a Bug. And that would be number 5. That was awesome. It shrunk you down to ant size. And both in DCA and Epcot, Animal Kingdom, were both so well done. It was so stinking cool. As a kid, I remember being like, oh my gosh, it does feel like I'm a little bug.
And the fact that you got to go in the tree.
Yeah. You're
And it
down
was
there.
just such a.
So stinking cool.
I'll never forget like us waiting in line for that when it was pouring down rain.
Yeah.
Such good memories.
Very cool attraction. So RIP is tough to be bug. Okay, let's head over to number 4 in Pandora. Navi River Journey.
Such a good one.
Such a good one. It starts off lame, not gonna lie. The outdoor portion is like, again, how themed can an outdoor portion get though? I guess I'll give him that.
I mean, pretty themed. If you think of like Jungle Cruise and
All right,
Haunted Mansion.
good choice. Okay, good point. Okay, so it's a little on the lame side. Not
Yeah.
much going on, but
Once you get inside.
right when you step
whoa,
inside, so cool.
It's amazing.
Perpetual darkness. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Mhm.
And it's just really well done. A lot of bioluminescence in there, or I guess it's just lit. I guess it's just lights. But very well done. Makes you feel like you're in the middle of some kind of Pandoran jungle thing.
Yeah,
So very
for sure.
well done. Navi River Journey is awesome. You can kind of bag on the ride a little bit because it's like 14 seconds long,
Mhm.
but the rest of the attraction is pretty freaking awesome.
Mhm.
It's got the best animatronic period as of now.
Yeah.
Until we see Walt Disney's animatronic
I know.
in Disneyland in July.
gosh, I can't
That's
wait.
supposed to be amazing, but this one is very well done.
We'll see. All right, number 3 is Kilimanjaro Safaris. Another one that's amazing. Again, storyline throughout the queue, how it's giving you direction of like what you're gonna see and like watch your head and like these are the animals and da da da. Da. It's just amazing, and just the ride itself is just so cool.
Feels okay. So I've been to Africa. I've
Yeah.
been to Uganda,
Mhm.
and the closest I felt, and the closest of like whoa, like feeling where you're like, oh my gosh, I'm there again. Animal Kingdom. Like I got a whiff of something, and I was like, dude, I'm standing in Uganda again. There's just moments like that. So what I'm talking about here is just another attraction and stuff where you're like, this feels authentic.
Yeah.
Like you could rip myself out and be like, yeah, I feel like I'm in Africa right now.
And the
It's
fact
wild.
that Joe Rohde was able to paint that picture, like
He's
it's just
insane.
insane to
He's
me.
insane. He's so good.
Right?
And it's a shame that Disney lost him.
Yeah. Isn't he
Like,
at Universal?
I don't know. He's done some like consulting with them. I think. I don't think he's
okay.
officially hired by them, but he's kind of like a freelance guy now. He goes
Gotcha.
around. But I mean, it's a kind of rumor. I think, if I'm not mistaken, there's a little bit of like he kind of got tired of the what's going on over
Yeah.
at Disney. So I think he was kind of like, peace. I'm too old for this. I'm out.
Well, speaking of Joe Rohde, let's just talk about where he literally hit it out of the park. Number 2 is Expedition Everest. Need I say more? If anyone needs a gold stamp of what Joe Rohde has done, Expedition Everest is like
It's so stinking
it's
good.
absolutely amazing. The theming, not only inside the ride, outside the ride, but surrounding the ride, as far as going across Animal Kingdom and looking through a little like artifact of a mountain and seeing Everest through it across the water, how that was all intricately planned is
Yeah.
just so, so incredibly amazing.
He did something as well. Like there are these things that he found in Tibet or something like that when he was there doing kind of some, like some data finding and stuff and inspiration for this park. He saw that they were like hanging something from, I forget what it was. They're hanging something. And he has those laid out in the attraction because they would, something about spirits or something.
Yeah, it's the they're like the little like this is not the full
They're not wind
concept.
chimes or
They're like
something,
the ribbons not on the glass, but there's something like on the trees.
Okay.
That, like move.
Yeah, very well done. I don't know. There's just so much attention to detail. And when you hear him talk about it and the passion he brings, you just can't help but appreciate the work that went into not only the attraction, but the line is so well themed. It tells a story, pieces of art that he found there, and artifacts that he brought over from Asia. I know that he like bought them in these like villages and stuff. He was like, I'll take that, and brought them over, and they put it in the attraction. So that's just wild to me. So that is as authentic as you get to being right in the middle of Tibet.
Right.
So very well done.
Yeah.
Joe Rohde, you're amazing. And then finally, that brings us to number 1, Avatar Flight of Passage.
You guys, this is again one of those rides where like you're in the queue and you're just surrounded by just the whole scene of all the rocks in the air and the waterfalls and the greenery, and you just go, where am I right now? None other than Pandora. And the fact that you're able to transport there, there's a couple areas of the queue that I will say once you're inside that first area where you're kind of in the rocks,
The caves.
the cave area.
Yeah.
That one's not my favorite.
It's cool.
But like
I think
once
it's cool.
once you pass through that, like just like all the things you can look at, one of the Navi and like the water thing that you get to see.
Yeah, the tube.
And just again, that line is so incredibly long. The fact that there's so many things to look at and just mull over is it's really nice.
Very cool. Again, it feels like you're in a lab. Feels like you're in these. What I like about the cave thing is it does set it back. Like it feels like it's built into this cave network, which feels even more Pandora-y. So I got to give credit there. Wow, I got to give credit there. Got to give credit there. I think it's really well done. There's really nothing to be negative about. It's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah.
So Animal Kingdom, flush with great attraction queues. Epcot, a little harder to sift through it all. Hopefully you had fun. That brings us to the end of it.
Yeah.
There are no more parks in the US to really rate. So Disney, gold standard for attraction queues. I know that Universal's got some really good ones too. I've been to Universal only once in my life. And I remember standing in a few being like, this is pretty good. What they get knocked on, this is not an episode about knocking on Universal, so I'm going to stop here. But the only thing I'll knock on is that like they don't tend to hide speakers. And that's one thing where I kind of scratch my head because Disney does such a good job. And I always like find it fun to try and find the hidden speakers. And that adds to it because you don't want to know that the music's coming from a speaker. You want to know, oh, it's coming from the village or it's coming from that house right there.
You don't want to see the exit signs.
Yeah, they don't care about that. They'll slap some speakers right in front of your face. And I've found that kind of odd. So anyways, Disney, you do a good job. It's fun talking about it. The fact that we can sit here and talk about line rides for like 15 minutes is wild.
Right?
So yeah, it's good stuff. Okay, thank you so much for listening. You can find us over on Instagram and Threads at Market House Podcast. Make sure to follow us over there for pictures from the park and exciting news and announcements. Consider leaving a review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Both are a huge help to the show. Thank you so much for doing that. Patreon, markethousepodcast.com/support is where you can find out more information. If you want to hear our ramblings about the recent announcements, head over there so you can do that. Remember to use our Getaway Today link for your future trip bookings. Check out the episode details for that link and use code MarketHouse10 to save an additional $10 on your vacation. Join us next week for another episode. It's been fun. It's been grand. It's been filled with tea, cough drops, and I want to go lay down.
Okay. Oh, bye.